Nobody's going to dig deep into whatever you posted a year ago or whatever, but you could put up a post on YouTube, a year later. It's still very relevant because if somebody puts in, how to negotiate with a narcissist, and that video that I posted a year and a half ago could still pop up, could still be something that somebody watches. And people like to watch video.
Hello and welcome to the Creator Business Show. My name is Chikati and I am so excited about today's guest. Rebecca Zung is the Narc Slayer. And if you've ever seen any of her videos on YouTube, you know that she talks about narcissism in our society and how it's an epidemic and how you can deal with the difficult people in your life powerfully. Rebecca was a college dropout in her early 20s with 3 young children. She became an attorney. And today she's on the way to becoming a $100 million creator. Right now, she has multiple teams helping her put up 5 videos a week. She has courses, she has an online community, she has memberships, and really creating a lot of transformation in people's lives. This is a fascinating conversation, and I'm so glad you're joining us today. So without further ado, welcome to another edition of the Creator Business Show. I am thrilled, beyond honored, to be joined today by Rebecca Zung, the Narc Slayer. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So Rebecca is an attorney. She'll give you the whole rundown, but she's an attorney. She is a unparalleled creator now and is helping millions of people deal with some of the most difficult and toxic people in their life. And so, Rebecca, why don't you take it away?
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I don't know how far back you want me to go, but I graduated second in my class from high school. And then I always say sort of got derailed. Half Chinese, half German. My dad was a doctor. And so I always say I have no fun genes at all, so, my parents expected a lot from me. And, so my way of pushing back was, I'm going to drop out of college, get married at 19, and have 3 kids by the time I'm 22, right? So, and then...
That'll show you.
Yeah, that'll show you. And then at 22, I'm like, maybe they were right. This is actually kind of hard. I have no money and I have 2 years of college, but what am I doing here? So I pulled myself up by my bootstraps. I finished college and I started teaching. I was teaching inner city elementary school in Fort Lauderdale. And then my marriage kind of fell apart at that point. And I'm still in my 20s, but I felt so old at that point. I had lived such a life already. At the time, the University of Miami had a night school, law school. And here I am divorced and 3 little kids and started to go to law school at night. And, luckily I had a good relationship with my ex-husband. So he would take care of the kids at night. And, I put myself through law school and met my current husband there. So we've been married for 21 years now, and I have a 19-year-old daughter with my current husband. And while I was still in law school, I happened to meet a woman who was also half Chinese, who had been divorced and had 3 kids. And, we had this crazy, all these things in common. And she happened to be one of the top family law attorneys in the country. And she had this big, massive practice where she was representing all these billionaires and celebrities. And, because in Florida, everybody wants to be a Florida resident, even if they live, other places, they're Florida residents.
Because no income tax.
Because of no income tax, right? So I learned the business of high net worth divorce, which is a very different type of practice than regular divorce. You're dealing with estates and business valuations and all this. And so that's how I kind of came up through the ranks as a high net worth divorce attorney. In 2013, I wrote my first book. And, by then I had already had my own practice. The partners that I had been working for had long retired. And that kind of started to get me some media attention. John Gray, who wrote Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus, had, given me a testimonial for my book. I was picked up by his publicist. So I started to do some commentating on celebrity divorces. I started commentating for, TMZ and Extra and things like that. And I started speaking around the country on negotiation, just straight negotiation. And, kind of came up through the ranks as a speaker on negotiation, and even was the keynote speaker for the American Bar Association on negotiation. And about 4 years ago, I decided, I think I want to do other things other than just practice law. So I merged my practice with two other guys. And I just decided I want more space. I want to clear the space. I want to spend more time with my daughter, had a few more years left of high school. My husband had always wanted to come back to California. So we decided to spend more time here in California. I'm still a partner at a firm in Florida, but, I don't really practice anymore. I originate cases, but I don't.
But still a Florida resident.
Florida resident, of course. And, I was like, okay, what do I want to do? So I found myself in an entrepreneurial situation with another woman who turned out to be a covert narcissist. And I had no idea anything about narcissists. First of all, in my mind, I thought narcissists were all male. And I also thought narcissists were all boisterous, loud, big mouthed people who filled the room, told everybody how great they were. I had no idea that there were different kinds of narcissists. This is how little I really knew about narcissists, to be honest with you. Somebody mentioned to me about the word covert narcissist. And at the time, my husband and I were also realizing that there was a family member that we were dealing with that was also a covert narcissist. And so this was all kind of coming to light at the same time. And both of them also were female, by the way. And so we started diving into all things narcissism. So my husband and I were like just filling our heads with every book, every podcast, every piece of everything. We just became like narcissist experts as much as we possibly could. And, we're both lawyers, so research was our thing. I mean, as many books and everything that we could possibly get our hands on, we just started learning everything we could about narcissism. And I was just absolutely shocked. And I realized that the 20 years that I had been studying about negotiation, I could totally apply to what I was learning about narcissism. And that was when I realized, I could actually, talk about this as well. And I was still doing some law practicing at the time, and I started applying it to my law practice, and I was starting to see movement in my cases. At the same time, because I was taking this sort of sabbatical from my law practice, and I was starting to figure out what I was going to do next, I was diving deep into learning about YouTube, learning about funnels, learning about digital courses, and, trying to figure out my next step. So I started to just do some videos. And I did videos on how to negotiate, clothing color, psychology, and negotiation, how to negotiate a pay raise, and, a couple of those. And some of those would get like 20 views, 30 views, which were pretty much, I'm pretty sure like my mom was watching, and, maybe some of her.
She would watch it twice just to up the view count.
Oh yeah. My mom would probably watch all 20. And maybe some of her friends at church, because she would show, oh, look at this, my daughter, And then I did one video on how to negotiate with a narcissist, and it got like 600 views. And I thought, oh, hmm, maybe I'm onto something here. So I thought maybe I should do more on that. Maybe other people are dealing with this too, not just me, you know? And so I thought, I guess I should do a little more content on that. And that was literally only about a year and a half ago. And now I have about 1.5 million views a month.
And 230,000 subscribers when I checked last.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So from 20 views to 1.5 million views a month, obviously a lot happened, but what do you think? I mean, because that is really catching lightning in a bottle. What do you think it was about the subject matter, your particular expertise, and also your entrepreneurial drive that made this such a prolific advancement for you?
It is so prevalent. I mean, I believe that there is a narcissism pandemic. I can't go anywhere now. I mean, with 1.5 million views a month, it's a crazy thing, but I can't go anywhere without people recognizing me, which is a crazy thing. I mean, I was at an event this weekend. People were coming up to me. Oh my gosh, you're the girl on YouTube. I watch you. You changed my life. That happens to me all the time. I was in Costco. This woman recognized me. She told her son to go stand over by the cart because she wanted to just tell me like how much my videos had helped her. I had a guy recognize me at a restaurant. He wanted to take a picture with me. I mean, it's humbling. It's actually so humbling. You know, I was saying like the situation that I went through was absolutely, well, between the family member and the business partner, both of them were absolutely horrible, traumatic, and awful. I mean, I can't tell you how many sleepless nights, how much it made me sick to my stomach, I felt nauseous,
Oh,
and
sure. Uh-huh.
I can't even tell you how much it made me feel like I was crazy. And it brought back feelings of how I was bullied on the playground. I felt 10 years old again, you know, in some ways. Like I had to go back to like this woman who's like my business coach, who's almost basically like my therapist. I mean, you know, like I can't even tell you how disempowering. It's almost like I felt shame, you know, awful.
Oh, yeah.
I
I
can't
believe it.
even
I
tell you
believe
how
it.
awful it was. Am I glad I went through it to be in this place where I can help all these millions of people? I still am not at the place where I can say, oh, yeah, I'm so glad I went through that to be able to help these people. No, I can't say that. But I'm glad that at least I can use that to help all of these people, you know, because at least it wasn't in vain, that I can say.
Absolutely. So people are coming up to you in restaurants. People are stopping you in Costco. I'm sure you're getting flooded with comments and emails. I mean, I have so many. I have questions both about for the show. This is about, you know, how did you make this into a business? But then also, you know, what is it? Okay, this is how we'll transit from what you do to why it matters. But what is it about a narcissist that is different than just a difficult person or someone who's self-centered, someone who's arrogant? Why is that so different, and why does that have to be treated so differently?
Because they have no conscience. I mean,
But doesn't everybody say that about someone they don't like? You know, like
no.
everybody has had a difficult encounter with somebody, either a teacher or a kid they went to school with or something like that. But, you know, how do you know you're actually dealing with a narcissist?
Because absolutely everything they do is to take you down, to make you small, to make you feel like you're crazy. I mean, even the smallest things, and especially the coverts. I mean, it's absolutely everything. And they're so good, at least the coverts are so good at what I call plausible deniability, so that,
And an attorney, plausible deniability is, big one for you.
yeah, so that when you try to tell people about it, they think, well, it must have been inadvertent because they're so nice, or there's some way that they can kind of like make it seem like it wasn't on purpose or it wasn't them, or like a couple weeks ago I was telling somebody about it, like, well, they were like, oh, you went through that with a covert, oh my god, that's awful, like what kinds of things were they doing? And I was like describing it, and
Hmm.
even then when I was telling the person, I was, the keynote at a 7-figure women's retreat, and the woman was looking at me and she's like, yeah, and like, and what else, like what else did.
But you're saying this person made me lose sleep. This person made me feel like I was 10 years old being bullied again. And when you try to describe it, it's like, on the one hand, there's this pandemic. And on the other hand, it's like the only people who really have had the experience can relate. And yet you have 230,000 people watching a million and a half views of your content. So clearly, in spite of the fact that you're having the difficulty describing what's going on, even as someone who's an attorney and a public speaker, there is this phenomenon happening.
Well, because the coverts are really good at being covert. For example, like maybe they'll deliver a gift to somebody, right? And the narcissist will just be like, oh, I just sent a gift. Why is that so bad? I was just sending a gift. But the victim knows what that means,
Mm.
what they're doing, what
Hmm.
they're trying to convey. You know what I'm saying?
It's a gift you wouldn't want to get, or just it's a
Yeah,
gift that
it's a
has no thought
message.
behind it.
I'm still controlling you. I'm digging under your skin. It's like, but to the outside
I'm
world,
putting you
I'm
down.
putting you
It's like, oh,
down.
but
It's a thing.
they got you presents. They got you multiple
Right.
things.
But to the outside world,
Yeah,
it's like, what is the problem? The person sent a gift. What? What is that? You see what I'm saying?
absolutely.
Like, but that's why my YouTube audience knows, oh shit. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm saying. Like, but when you tell everybody else, it's like,
Yeah.
what is the problem with that? That's what I mean.
So you have a course, you have multiple courses. Uh,
Yeah.
Slay your negotiation.
Yes.
Do you want to talk about that? And then let's talk about the business. There's you said you were learning funnels, learning about YouTube, camera confidence, all of this. So
So much. Yeah.
so much goes into it, but clearly you can't engage with every person at Costco, but they're saying you've transformed my life. So how did you take this transformation, this body of work, your entire life's journey, and then how did you start turning that into a business, and where are you at?
A 7-figure business.
Congratulations. Yeah, tell us about how you turned this into a 7-figure business.
So the funnel is pretty simple. First of all, you have to understand that YouTube is first and foremost not social media. It is a search engine. And that's what I tell people all the time. It is not like Instagram or Facebook. It's, Instagram and Facebook, you put up a post and 2, 3, 4 days later, it's gone. Nobody's going to dig deep into whatever you posted, you know, a year ago or whatever. But you could put up a post on YouTube and, a year later, it's still very relevant, because if somebody puts in, how to negotiate with a narcissist, and that video that I posted a year and a half ago could still pop up, could still be something that somebody watches. If the tags are right, if the description is right, if the SEO is right, because the way Google does the searches, not only will the content show up, whatever the articles are, whatever it is, they'll show the videos, and people like to watch video, because Google owns YouTube, right?
Mm-hmm. It's the second largest search engine in the world after Google itself, right?
Correct. But not only that, Google will show you the videos. So, when you search for something on Google, the videos pop up. So not only do you see that, my videos will show up. And as far as divorcing a narcissist, I actually own the entire panel.
Wow.
If you search divorcing a narcissist, I own the panel right now.
So that's the search engine results page.
Every single
Every result.
every single result is mine right now.
And was that organic?
Totally organic. I've not paid for one single dollar.
Wow. You don't have to advertise to own the top search results.
I haven't spent $1 in advertising.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
So if you were in practice still, that would be a tremendous top of funnel for you. But because you're not actively an attorney, you're still.
Well, I get paid because I get a percentage of everything I bring in.
Okay. So that seems like the better way to do it at this point. You don't have to open all these
Correct.
cases. You just have to refer them. You get an origination fee.
I get an origination fee.
Is that just in Florida or elsewhere?
Just in Florida, because I'm only licensed in Florida.
Fantastic. Okay. So this pandemic hiding in plain sight, you start making videos. Finally, one catches on because you say how to negotiate with a narcissist. What was it about that video because clearly you're making videos, so you're in the creative mindset, but what was it about that video in particular that resonated with people? And then how did you turn that into the spark that caught fire for your business?
Well, I mean, I literally, in that video, if you watch it, I had no idea what the hell I was doing. I mean, I turned on Zoom. I knew, I was like, "Oh, I need to start doing videos. I'm going to and I was like, "Ugh, I'm not good at this. I don't even want to do this, but I'm just going to try. I'm just going to try it. I'm going to force myself." It was like 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I didn't even barely brush my hair or anything. Nobody's going to watch this, but I'm just going to force myself to try to just do it. And I didn't think anybody was ever going to watch it. It was just me practicing, And so I thought, I'm turning on Zoom. I'm just going to talk into the camera. I'm just going to do this. So I turned on Zoom. I hit record. I talked into it. And I hit upload on, I didn't even really barely know how to do it. I'm going to just hit upload and do it. And just to practice. So, and I didn't know anything about how to write descriptions, or I literally made a thumbnail on Canva, and I really didn't know what I was doing at that point. That was that. So, I mean, that was so rickety, but that's what it was. And you know what? That really just proves a good point, honestly. And that is that people don't care about the quality of the video so much. They just want good content, honestly. So, I mean, obviously I've improved a lot since then. But that was my.
Hopefully, you're not still doing your own thumbnail images on Canva.
No. That was that was then. This is now. So just for the people out there who want to get started, that was how I got started. It was just me forcing myself to just give it a try.
Did you have an output goal? Did you say, I'm just going to do 20 of these, or did you?
Not at the beginning. At the beginning, I was just so scared to even try this. And, I feel like I'm going to look stupid, and, all the things that you always think when you're trying out these things. Right. But I just thought, I'm going to try. And I was taking courses on ClickFunnels, Russell Brunson, has all these free content and whatever, because Russell Brunson's really smart, because he knows if he gives away all this content, then you'll use ClickFunnels to because you got to have some platform to deliver the content, so you might as well use ClickFunnels, right? So he gives away the content. So I was taking all his courses to figure out how to do lead pages and how to make a course and how to do webinars and all that sort of stuff. And so that's what I was doing. And so I knew, okay, if I make YouTube videos, I might as well have a a lead page. So I created a lead page and I created a lead magnet, which is my Crush My Negotiation prep worksheet. And I literally, the original one
Downloaded at crushmynegotiation.com.
at winmynegotiation.com.
Winmynegotiation.com.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, the original one was something I made myself. Now I had a designer pretty it up, but the original one I made myself, which was something that I kind of designed out of my book. I had the book Negotiate Like You Matter that Robert Shapiro wrote the foreword for. And I kind of used some of the principles from there. That's the lead magnet. It's been downloaded. This is a year and a half, and I have almost 120,000 people on my list.
That's amazing. Yeah, that is really something. And so legal services are some of the most expensive professional services. So not only are you helping people, but you're helping people in a very lucrative market. How do you feel about that?
Well, that's my point. And that's why I'm helping people get access to something that, normally to have paid me, I would have charged, $25,000 retainer. And they're getting access to me, which, would have been way more money before.
Yeah. And so you might be taking less in per person, but in aggregate, there's no way that you could have 120,000 clients or even 1,200 clients, right?
Well, right. But I feel like I'm helping people on a much greater scale. And, the way I look at it is, I heard something once about people get paid to the extent that their impact, that they have impact. And I'm not saying this very well, but, in other words, the reason why entertainers get paid so well or that athletes get paid so well is because they impact so many people, right? And I feel like, if I can impact people on a great scale, like I can get paid, but I can also deliver great content and bring great value to people in a way that's so much more accessible and so much more affordable. Something that they would never, ever, ever have been able to have access to.
Well, first of all, the YouTube content, there's a community of people who understand what you're going through. Here's how to identify this. Here's what to do about it. And if you need more, here's how to access more. So all of those are quite revolutionary, in my personal opinion.
And now, by the way, I have a membership. So now I have a $17 a month membership and a $47 a month membership.
Okay.
So my $17 a month membership, my daughter, she just finished, she has a bachelor's in psychology, a master's in counseling, and she just finished advanced certifications in narcissist abuse healing.
Congratulations to her.
Yeah. And so she runs a monthly support group for $17 a month. She also has like small groups for like $127 a month. But for $17 a month, you can access her monthly support group. That's crazy inexpensive, and to have access to somebody like her, to have mental health healing with her background. So I feel like to have access to the mental health and emotional side. And then for $47 a month, you can have I go live and do my Ask the Attorney Anything, so especially if you're doing like the Slay program or whatever, you can have access to me and, ask me questions or whatever in a smaller group setting. So now I have the monthly memberships and things like that as well, which is all part of my community as well. And I'm also getting ready to roll out a couple of different certifications, which are going to be the Slay Healing and Recovery Program certification. And also next year, I'm going to be rolling out a negotiation certification program also.
That's, yeah. And there's more.
Well, once those coaches start getting graduated, then those coaches will be available to coach people in our community. So,
Wow.
um, so it's going to be incredible.
So from your mom and her church friends watching your YouTube videos, 20 views to 600 views to multiple courses, certification, subscription community, keynoting. Talk about this business journey. How did Rebecca Zung attorney become Rebecca Zung creator extraordinaire? And what kind of support also do you? Obviously, you're not doing thumbnails on Canva anymore. So, do you have a business coach? Do you have like what kind of operations?
Well, I'm actually, I joined a mastermind, and I was just at the mastermind this weekend and talking in my small groups, and they were like, you need to hire a director of operations, like stats. And I thought, yeah, I probably do because I'm still handling all the operations myself. I mean, this is only a year and a half. And so it's kind of like boom, exploded. And, I now have a literary agent. I'm pitching my book to, agents, and I'm talking to, people about some other projects and things like that. And I thought, and so it's like me as a brand, and then I'm also running all the operations myself. And I have, a bunch of VAs who are responding to all of my, as you can imagine, I have literally hundreds of emails and DMs a day,
Sure.
hundreds.
Mm-hmm.
And we are not keeping up. And the tech side is huge. And so I have one CTO, but I also have a team in Pakistan that is part of my tech side as well, who are great. They're great. But, keeping up with the growth is, plus I do a lot of content. I do 5 videos a day. And so I have a video editing team in Puerto Rico who are also fantastic. So it's pretty intense.
We need to get to a design team in Portugal, so you have all the P countries
Oh, you're so
and the
funny.
Philippines. Yeah. Okay, so you have multiple teams. I had no idea you're making 5 videos a day. Why are you making 5 videos a day?
5 a week.
Oh, 5 a week. Okay.
Yeah.
Got to keep that YouTube algorithm fed. It's a hungry beast.
Yeah.
You make a lot of videos lately about like Meghan Markle, Brian Laundrie, and Gabby Petito. I think you have specific domain expertise. How much of that is personal interest and domain expertise versus understanding the algorithmic nature of YouTube?
Yeah. So it's part of the algorithm. You do want to do like a certain amount of what we call evergreen content, which is your main content, your viewers' main content. And then you want to do a certain amount of kind of what we call viral content, which is not just sort of like the trending, but not, you don't always do trending, but it's like if you see something that's might be interesting, good, on topic for the trends, you don't always
Mhm.
pick the trends, but
Yeah, because by the time this video actually goes live, people won't even remember the Gabby Petito
yeah,
Brian Laundrie thing.
yeah,
It's only going to be in a month.
right, right. So,
Yeah.
like I had thought about maybe doing something around the Alec Baldwin thing, and then I thought, no, maybe not.
And for people who've forgotten the Alec Baldwin thing, by the time this comes up, he was on set and had a loaded weapon that ended up being loaded with real ammunition and killed 2 people on accident.
One.
One, and shot a second person. But that's how fast this whole thing moves, which is why evergreen content is so important,
Right.
because something that people can come back to 2 or 3 years in the future is really, really vital.
Right. And then depth content is also important, like where you're kind of like feeling like you're kind of almost having like coffee with your viewers, where like I talk something about like, my own story of bullying, like I've talked about that, and where you kind of being a little bit more intimate with your own viewers. Like I did one recently about why I love my haters.
Mm.
Just, like more like let your haters be your fuel.
Your fuel and nice.
Yeah.
Very nice. Okay, so you have an operations team. You have multiple operations teams. You have one CTO. You're being urged to hire a director of business
Operations.
operations. You're at seven figures. It's not like this was an overnight sensation. This was an overnight sensation 20 plus years in the making. This
Yeah, in
is
a
your
way it
your
is.
entire
But
body of work,
yeah.
just hitting the zeitgeist at the right the right person, right time. So can we talk about your payroll? Like if not in specific numbers, like how many people are you employing, or how many teams?
Well, I mean, it's kind of all over in a way because I've got like the VAs. Well, I mean, I call them VAs, but I have like these customer service people who are responding to, like tickets, because I have people who are responding to emails who are also responding to so I have like Zendesk. Everything goes into Zendesk. It's a great, great tool. So I have everything go into Zendesk, and then I have people who respond to everything there.
That's on the inbound, but then you also do a fair amount of daily email marketing, right?
Yeah. So the emails go out from Active Campaign,
Okay.
and which is our CRM, and which is customer relations management, but that's the tool. Active Campaign is great because it's a very smart tool in the sense that it can tell like if somebody's already purchased a program, for example, then it won't continue to send emails to that particular person. The problem is though that they'll sign up for a program with a different email or something, and then they're like, oh, how come I'm still getting emails? It's like, well, because you signed up on a different email. You know what I mean?
Right.
But
Right.
so it's not perfect, but
And how many email subscribers do you have from 230,000 YouTube subscribers?
almost 120,000.
Wow, that's prolific.
Yeah. Yeah, it grows pretty quickly. And then I do have a Facebook group which has 70 something thousand in that as well. That grows pretty quickly as
Wow.
also.
But yeah, the value of one email subscriber as opposed to a YouTube subscriber or a Facebook group member, it's just exponentially more valuable.
Well, the email subscribers are very valuable because, you own, YouTube could go away tomorrow or whatever, but your email list, of course, you own that, right? It's what Russell Brunson calls like traffic you control. Let's see. So then I have, my video editing team, my CTO. I have, I work with my daughter who she helps with all of the coaching and stuff, but she also helps with operations. Gosh, it's like hard to remember all the different people. Like I'll get off the call here and I'll be like, oh, I didn't mention this one or that. Well, I have the team in Pakistan, and it's
If you didn't get mentioned, you're still appreciated.
yes,
It's just
exactly.
a lot of people to be a lot of people to keep track of.
Exactly. Yeah. And then the podcast editing team. Yeah.
Wow.
So, yeah.
I imagine that your experience working in a firm probably helped you with the different components of multifaceted business.
Yeah, for sure. And then, of course, there is my law firm, which thank goodness for them too.
So you have really taken this moment, both in understanding how narcissism affects people, and then, the marketing and the community building that is YouTube and algorithmic content. So turn that into a 7-figure business. What's the next iteration?
Oh gosh, I have so many different things in the fire right now. Some things I can't even talk about, but one thing I can talk about is that I did create a nonprofit with Lindsay Snyder, she's the owner of In-N-Out, the burger company. So we co-founded Slay Legal Aid Foundation, which is going to be providing legal aid to people who need it. So for anybody who needs legal aid in a divorce situation, or veterans, or people who need it for their homes, or human trafficking, or just anybody who needs legal aid. So we're actually actively looking for an executive director right now, who can head it up for us and get that thing up and running and going. And we're in the process of forming a board for it right now. And super, super excited. Lindsay and I actually just filmed the promotional video. We're in the process of getting that edited right now. So we're really, really excited about that.
That's amazing. Okay, so you have a million really exciting things going on, and I get excited hearing about the different things that you are germinating or growing. How do you balance all of the needs of the business with being a human? How do you ground yourself in the midst of all of this so that you're not overwhelmed by everything you're capable of and everything that needs your attention?
My husband and I live close to the beach, here in Manhattan Beach. We walk on the beach pretty much every night, and we walk our dog. And I love spending time near the ocean, and being with friends, being with my kids. I love my work. I love what I do. I definitely did not love litigating, did not love being in the midst of people fighting all the time. I love the fact that my previous life allowed me the experience to do what I'm doing now. But I always say that I used to hate 80% of my day. Now I love 80% of my day. I actually love what I'm doing. I think it's fun. I love creating, and I love talking to people like you. And I love hearing people's stories of their transformations. I've actually started interviewing a lot of the people who've been transformed by my work, and I'm so inspired by that. I'm so inspired by that. It's like moves me to tears sometimes. I don't know. It doesn't even really feel like work a lot of times. I love being, I've joined some of these masterminds, and I love being with other people who are up to really, really cool things. That's really energizes me and inspires me. So I don't know. I think that I'm loving what I'm doing. I'm loving my life.
Fantastic. Okay, so then it doesn't really feel like work.
Exactly.
Well, congratulations. That is the ultimate accomplishment, is not even the financial windfall, but just being able to be so engaged and find that balance. So I'm very happy to hear that. And I think that a lot of the people who are, creators who are benefiting from our conversation about the business, I'm sure they'll love to hear that as well.
Exactly.
What is the hardest wall to break through right now in terms of running this business?
I would say the hardest wall is, just making sure that I have the right team in place, making sure that I have the right people, letting go of every aspect of it. I mean, I know for me, when they were saying to me this weekend in this mastermind, like, oh, you need to not be reading every Slack message, you need to not be engaged in every part of it, you need to just find the right person and then let go of it. And I'm thinking, yeah, I don't know about that. like, like that's so hard for me. Even this morning, an email went out to my list, and somebody responded because I read a lot of the messages, and I saw like one of the videos wasn't working. And so I was like texting my CTO, like, one of the videos isn't working. Like, do I need to jump in and like fix it? And he's like, no, you need to get on your podcast. I will fix it. And, like, I like to know what's happening in my business. And I think it's hard for me to not micromanage. I think that that is probably the hardest part for me because I like to know what's happening. And I think that,
Well, if you were an attorney, right? If you didn't know what was going on, then something, procedural could derail the whole case, right?
well, and that's what was always happening with me, with my firm. It's like the minute I was sitting in trial, I would be like looking at my phone, and I would see that one of my associates filed some document. Something was like seriously wrong with the document. And I'd be like, ugh, the minute I'm sitting in trial and something gets filed and I haven't looked at it, it's totally wrong. That's probably going to be the hardest part for me, because if I want to build, you know, like $100 million company, there's no way that I could be micromanaging every aspect of it. There's no way that Tony Robbins with $1 billion company knows every aspect of what's going on of every piece of it. He's definitely got
Hmm.
COOs of different divisions of his company or whatever that are very good at what they do. I think that's probably going to be the biggest challenge for me is letting go of that. Like hiring
Yeah,
the right
yeah.
people and then trusting them.
So then when you're running $100 million business, what is the overarching transformation that is a $100 million business from a seven-figure business today?
What is the overarching transformation? I
Yeah.
mean, to me, it's, impacting the world so that people feel free. I want the overarching transformation for me is that I took my pain and turned it into purpose and helped people break free from toxic relationships and really the real overarching thing is not just becoming a person of that helps people with narcissists but really a thought leader overall. I mean, a negotiation thought leader, but a thought leader overall, a person who stands for, that you can stand in your power,
Yeah.
that that I am a person who is represents power. I am a person of power, and that when people are with me they feel empowered.
And not that you need any other projects, but just cataloging your journey to becoming $100 million creator would be really fascinating and inspiring as well.
Yeah, from being a single mom with a college dropout to that, and that I represent that you can do that.
Yeah. And mixed race in this country, so many intersections of just fascinating life stories that reach out to so many people. So
Mixed race, and I just found this yearbook. I pulled it out because I was like looking for something else. I pulled it out because I wanted to show my husband because I knew I had remembered this. I looked for this page and I said, I'm pretty sure that this is the yearbook. And I found the page, and right on the yearbook, it was this girl had written, and she didn't even mean it like anything. Like she was like allegedly like sort of like my friend or whatever. And right on the page it says, "Hey, I've been meaning to ask you this all year, but are you or do you have some kind of chink blood in you? I'm pretty sure like you must have some kind of chink blood in you. But anyway, it's been great being your friend. Have a good summer." She writes this like literally right in my yearbook. Yeah. And I'm like thinking, "Oh yeah, that's nice." Like to go from that to, you know, where I am today. I want to be representing a powerful expression of what's possible.
and it's very
Yeah.
inspiring. So from single mother, 20-year-old single mother with three kids, college dropout, to $100 million creator. That is quite a journey. And it continues, but it's possible.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Well, Rebecca, thank you so much. I feel like we could have multiple of these interviews just along the way, but I'm really, really grateful for your time, for, the impact that you're creating for so many people, for really shining a light on an epidemic of not just poor behavior, but of just toxic behavior that is really costing people their lives and costing people thousands of dollars and their not just thousands of dollars, but just costing people a fortune, both in energy and in money, and creating community where people can connect with one another to overcome. And then also thank you for, sharing your creator journey of talking about the different operational elements of what you're doing to make sure that the content gets out 5 days a week and that you can participate and really triage. So I just took a lot away from this conversation, and I'm sure that this is going to be really popular on the show. So thank you very much. Before we go, there's obviously lots of places where people can find you, but where should people go to learn more?
Well, first of all, they definitely have to get my free Crush My Negotiation prep worksheet at winmynegotiation.com. And definitely they can subscribe to my channel on YouTube. For sure, they can find me there. And Instagram is Rebecca Zung as well. And, obviously in Facebook, they can join my Facebook group if they'd like, which is Narcissist Negotiators with Rebecca Zung. They can definitely find me there as well.
So basically, if you look on Google for narcissism, they're gonna find
They'll
you pretty
definitely
soon.
find me.
That is pretty amazing. Coinbase, when they got to the top of the Google search results for Bitcoin, that's when they became a multi-billion-dollar company. So
Ah.
and that was organic as well.
Well, I just started buying some stuff on Coinbase myself. I have very little teeny bits, but yeah.
Oh, that would be a fun conversation for another day. Rebecca, thank you so much again. RebeccaZong.com, winmynegotiation.com for the worksheet. You can check her out on YouTube and Instagram. If you go into Google and search for narcissism, you'll also find her. And it looks like there's going to be a lot more places to interact with Rebecca in the future. So, Rebecca, thank you so much. You're welcome back anytime.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me.